But we are curious and wanting to put in our borders. So we're going to throw in something just so you can kind of see what it does, and then we're going to have to customize it because it's very specific in these images, kind of what it is that we're trying to accomplish here. So let's just remember what it is that we're trying to accomplish. It's a very thick vertical mullion. I think roughly it's like 6 by 8, and then some thinner ones and whatnot. So to achieve that, we're going to need to do some custom profiles. But let's just see what it does. So if we just do the border 1, we'll apply that. All right, so we see that that's where that border 1, I'm not sure what it had here. Why didn't it? Corner mullion has been placed at the end of curtain wall that is not joined with another curtain wall. Oh, okay. So we didn't want to do that one. All right, but let's say that curtain. All right, so that's border 1. Border 2, I'm guessing, is the right side if that's the left side. So voila, there it is. And then the interior we can guess now is these two interior. And so the similar, actually I didn't mean to turn that off. Similarly, the horizontal has a border, so border 1 is the bottom. Now I never remember, so this is actually revealing to me. Oh yeah, border 2 is the top, and then you have the interior, so in this case it's only 1. So, okay, fine. But those, and there doesn't appear to be anything else in here that is 6 by 8. We don't have anything there. So, let's see what we're going to do for that. So let me say OK. Now, when you're dealing with Revit, under the project browser, you have all the views. You have a series of schedules. You have a series of sheets. And then you have all these families. So everything that you load, so if you loaded a bunch of beams, you would go down here to structural beams and you'd find out all the different framing systems that you've loaded, all the different shapes that you've loaded and their sizes. Okay, so that's interesting. So we should also come down here and we can find out where we have curtain wall mullions. So that's what we're dealing with. So these are the different shapes that we have. We have rectangular, trapezoidal, V-corner, you name it. If we wanted to just create a different rectangle, what we could do is we could edit this, we could duplicate it, and then we could call out what we wanted. So let's say that this is a 6 by 8, and then we have to go inside of it. Well, in fact, we probably don't need that 2 at the end. And then we can go inside of it and try to figure out what it's doing. And this is always a little tricky. So let's look at this, these two numbers. This is what it started out with, 2.5 by 5. So 5 inches, so we can assume that we would want this to be 8 inches now. And then 1 1/4 for side 1 and 1 1/4 for side 2. Now my sense is that that would allow it to be at 1 1/4 inside and 1 1/4 outside of wherever that curtain wall line is. So if you have that kind of perfect symmetry, which we don't, so that may be a reason why we wouldn't want this, but let's just see what we can do. And we'll say, okay, so I'm basically dividing where it had been 1 1/4 inches was half of this 2.5. I'm going to divide the 6 by 2 and I get 3 inches, and I'm going to say OK. Alright, now let's go ahead and select, edit, and let's go in and change the vertical into this 6 by 8, and we'll do the same thing for this vertical, and we should probably do the interior, I think, as well, and we'll apply. Alright, so that looks pretty good. Now let's see where it lands as far as the level 1. All right, so again, you see that how it's right in the middle. If I recall from the image, it doesn't, and I don't know if I have a better image than that. All right, here, this might be the better image. See, it doesn't come out that far. It must go in quite a ways. So let's see if we can't control that. And I know this seems like somewhat tedious, and it's like, why do we care? Well, I think what the important part here is that we're really just trying to figure out how Revit thinks and how to solve problems. It's not specifically like in your design methodology, the existing building, you need this mullion to move 2 inches in. But if it does, or if you do, you're going to need to know how to do it. So by just moving that 2 inches offset, now we can move that in. You can see that we have a pretty good relationship, a flush relationship here. But the one thing I do see here is that I think if we look at our images, we're going to see that more than likely that 6 inches is this way and 8 inches is that way. So in the hope of making this kind of accurate, let's we'll rename it, because obviously one dimension is going kind of opposite of what we thought it was. Now realize that the name didn't change anything, it's just really just a name. So we have to go in here and we'll just change this to 6 and this to 4 and 4. And now we've kind of got it oriented correctly. So quick fix. All right. So now that we have that down, let's just go ahead and because now we're going to create that horizontal, which appears to be very similar to this top. We're going to go ahead and let's make another duplicate of this. And this one, let's just guesstimate 4 inches by 4 inches. And also get rid of that too. And double click inside of it. And change a few things and say okay. Now realize also that you have aluminum as your finish, so eventually we should change that too. But let's just get that embedded. So tab through. I think, okay, tab through until you see that, see it's that offset line, so now it's a little harder to find. But there's our curtain wall. We'll edit it, go down to horizontal, and we wanted the, let's see, which one was it? I think we're going to go none on border 1, apply that. In fact, this might be better to see in our 3D view. Alright, and it's also easier to select. Alright, so it appears that border 1 was actually our top, so we want that to be, scroll down to our 4x4, border 2 to be none, and our interior to be also that 4x4. And it's asking to delete because we're getting rid of that bottom one. So did we get it right? Looks like we didn't. Alright, I'm not sure what I saw. We're going to do it again. Try this again. Horizontal as, I guess this is none. Say apply. Right now I'm really confused. We have both the horizontals, none. And it appears like one of them's still there. So apply, okay. Oh, I keep on missing the fact that it wants me to say delete. So, okay. 4x4. These is none, apply. Actually, change it to something. Change it to something, apply. Change it to nothing. Apply, say delete Mullion. And then change this to what you actually wanted it. Sorry, guys. I just wasn't reading the prompt. Okay, so there we go. We're in good shape. And next we'll do the panels.